This is Marietta from the Business Champion Show. Every week, I sit down with people who build our communities, small business owners, dreamers, and doers who turn challenges into opportunities. Their journeys remind us that success is about heart, courage, and connection. Join me as we celebrate the champions among us, right here in Connecticut and beyond. Visit thebusinesschampion.com and be part of our growing community. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the Business Champion Show. I'm your host, Marietta Cameron. When partners aren't aligned, the idea was there, the heart wasn't. That is our topic today. I want to talk about what happens when two people work on the same project. One brings the idea, the other is brought in to execute it. On paper, that sounds efficient, clear roles, clean responsibility. But there's something that often gets missed. No one is holding the heart. That's what I'm going to talk about today. So let's get started. You're tuned in to the Business Champion Show on the web, thebusinesschampion.com. And I am your host, Marietta Cameron. Today, I am starting with a book, not because this is about publishing, but because a book exposes this problem better than almost anything else. When a book is finished, you don't just ask what it taught you. You feel something or you don't. And this doesn't stop with books. It shows up in businesses, in partnerships, in branding, in programs that are well executed but somehow empty. So what I want to explore today is when one person has the idea and another person execute it. Who is responsible for meaning? Because if no one owns that, the work may be done, but it will never be alive. And that's what it's all about. So when two people work on the same project, and we've all had that, we have experience with that. The roles often look simple. One person brings the idea, the other is brought in to execute it. And on paper, this appears efficient and logical. I said that before. In reality, many projects fail, not because of a poor execution, but because no one takes responsibility for meaning. And before anything is created, before a book is written, a business launched, or a partnership formed, one question must be asked. What do we want people to feel when this is finished? If the person with the original idea cannot answer this, they cannot convey it. This is exactly what I experienced this is a real case, by the way, what I'm discussing today. I'm not naming any names or what the book was about. But I saw the first book and they had to redo the book. And they redid the book, okay. And it wasn't until the individuals were in an interview that I saw. And I could see the misalignment in their energy, in their body language, and in their choice of words. And I have to tell you, yes, even though television or radio picks certain content out of an interview and just let you listen to it for, let's say, 30 seconds or 60 seconds. No, it wasn't that at all. It was a misalignment between those two. And I said, I got to do a show on that one because it applies to so many areas. And the person who had the original idea, they didn't ask themselves, how do I want my readers to feel? Absolutely not. If that person had asked himself or herself, he would have had ownership of it. No, he came up with some basic ideas, gave it to person number two, and says, okay, put some framework around it and let's run with it. And something just didn't sit right with me. I loved the book, um, meaning what it's supposed to be about. I love that idea, but without any feelings or any emotional ownership, that whole thing is empty. It's a joke. So that's what made me dive into this deeper. So, and before, again, let me start there again. Before anything is created, before a book is written, a business launched, or a partnership formed, one question must be asked. What do we want people to feel when this is finished? So I'm repeating myself, but I'm doing this on purpose. So writers, consultants, designers, and executors can shape structure and language. Oh, yes. They cannot manufacture emotional truth. Voice is lived, meaning it is experienced, and soul cannot be delegated. Hear me. They cannot manufacture emotional truth. Voice is lived, meaning is experienced. Soul cannot be delegated. And it's a transactional thing. It's a thing, a transactional thing with no meaning and emptiness. Just think about this. The book example centers on a symbolic leader reflecting on years of working with a team. While the concept suggests warmth, the execution remains transactional, focused on roles, performance, and output. The result is a finished product that lacks resonance. So I like to really go into how to pick partnerships, but let me just mention this. Common breakdowns include assuming alignment without checking for it, confusing transaction with partnership, outsourcing voice instead of owning it, and competing for visibility instead of sharing meaning. And this is exactly what I saw in the interview. They were competing for visibility instead of sharing meaning. It's incredible. It's just really incredible. And I like to go into things when we're confusing skills with alignment. So, do they have the skills I'm missing? I repeat, do they have the skills I'm missing? Now, a better question would be, do we agree on what this business stands for? So this is when I'm working with a partner or with a second person that puts this all, in motion. So the answer should really be skills solve tasks. Alignment determines direction. So I had to learn about this too, because not everybody can have all the skills that are necessary. But what is necessary that you bring the heart to the table. You put it on the table, and it's all about the heart. And the second person has to work with that heart. And if they can't work with the heart, then you have to pick a person that can. You have the wrong people. And also confusing enthusiasm with commitment. Are they passionate about the idea? Now, a better question would be, what will they be responsible for when things get uncomfortable? And the real answer should be excitement fades, commitment stays. So I don't want anybody touching anything, what I do. As long as I have a voice, as long as I'm alive, I will use my own voice. I will use my own experiences and share them. I don't want anybody writing about my experiences. That's like grandma and grandpa, writing about their experiences and their travels and their sharing their life together and their children and everything. And it should really be about their voices, grandma and grandpa, instead of the third person putting words in their mouth just to have a story or just to do a book or whatever. How can that possibly work? The end result will be not anything close what they're expecting. How could it be? But the key is the emotional intelligence is in the intellect. You put the heart on the table first, and then you work with all the facts and the experiences and everything. And you create and format around the heart and the experiences. But you have to have emotional intelligence to even understand that. And if you don't have that, and even AI won't help you. AI is wonderful, a wonderful partner that can help you format things, but not the emotional structure. So you got to pick the right people that have emotional intelligence. Otherwise, you get a mishmash of nothing. So, and this is exactly what I saw out of something very beautiful that happens once a year, where people put their heart and thoughts, their feelings. The children are excited and in anticipation, and they make something deader than a doornail because the heart is missing. That's what prompted me really to think about this further. So, confusing friendship with partnership. Do we like each other? Well, a better question would be, can we disagree without protecting our egos? And the real answer should be, friendship avoids conflict. Partnership requires it. That's good. A friendship avoids conflict. Partnership requires it. Okay, confusing equal effort with equal ownership. Are we both working equally hard? A better question would be, who's responsible for direction and final decisions? Real answer should be, effort can be equal. Responsibility must be clear. So just think you're putting your whole life down. Let's say you're retired or not retired. You're putting reflections on a piece of paper. And you feel, look, I really have something in this time period that I really like to bring to paper, but I don't know how to articulate myself. So you're looking for professionals then, and you just don't know how to choose the right one. And again, it has to be it has to be with soul, heart and soul. So you have to find the right person that understands that, and that I would even let close to what I put down. So confusing vision with ideas. Do we have lots of ideas together? Better question would be, when we must choose one direction, who decides? And the answer is, ideas multiply, vision narrows. So again, when you put down your life experiences and the different life times in your life, um, it has to be brought to life with emotions, with your emotions that you had at that time. Now, when I'm reading the script that you put down, I would naturally ask, what did you feel at that time? Because the reader would want to know about it. Why otherwise? Why put it down? Just why? Why write a book? So, confusing revenue goals with shared purpose. Do we agree on income targets? Better question would be, what are we unwilling to sacrifice to reach those targets? And the answer should be, money aligns temporarily, values last. Again, I like to mention to you, I cannot see myself giving up my thoughts, my feelings to another person. and me telling them, okay, run with it, make something sellable, something that everybody can relate to. No, people don't relate to anything unless it's spelled out. The feelings, the emotions, the thoughts, that all is part of it. So I don't let anybody run with anything. I do this myself. Uh, I may take a second person to refine it a little bit, to reword things a little bit, but I will be the final person to look at that as well because you may change the meaning of something. That can happen, not intentionally, but I want to watch for that as well. Confusing hiring with partnering. Is everyone paid fairly? A better question would be, is this a transactional or shared ownership? And the answer should be payment defines scope, partnership defines responsibility. So I have to tell you, when I do my shows, whether it's the Business Champion or Life Talk with Marietta, I have to believe in the content. And I remember when I first started filming, that was in 2005 when we started our TV shows. I always wrote the content myself. It's my thought, my questions I wanted to ask. Same when we went on location to film, I had all the dialogue already written out, what I wanted to do and what was important, what I thought was important for the audience. I would never let the person who videoed and who edited afterwards, who put the show together, make that decision. So I was the producer of that. Another person, they can understand how I think. Maybe after a little while, once you really do projects together, and once you try, I can, have a better understanding how a person thinks. That is fine. But as a producer, as a host, I want to be able to have and to portray my shows the way I believe in and the way I can deliver it. That is what I'm saying. And if you let somebody else do it, you know, I don't think I need to repeat this. So we're going for a quick break, and we'll be right back. We're back from our break. I'm your host, Marietta Kammerer, and today we're really discussing when partners aren't aligned. The idea was there, the heart wasn't. That's our topic. And before the break, I talked about how I always wrote my own script and delivered it myself. I don't let anybody touch that because the outcome will not be as I envision it. I have a vision. With every show and every delivery, I have a vision how I want this and how I want it to feel. So just think about when you do a show, and let's say you go out on location, you interview a business owner, and I designed questions just to get a total picture of what is happening here, why the person is doing, how long he's been in business, and what his philosophy is. If I don't write a script for the editor, something else will become of it. The editor, the person that films and edits, happened to be the same person who was in my case. because it gets more difficult if somebody else edits, and I'll tell you in a minute. So you have to give them precise instructions uh, um, what pictures you want them to film, what you want, what B-rolls, and how you want the whole thing, how you want it set up. You have to tell them. You have to give them instructions. And you have to give them instructions what the whole thing should look like afterwards, the film. Very, very important, because as they start up, they can put a wrong graphic in there. They can do this, and then and it changes the whole flavor of the whole thing again. It's almost like cooking. Not that I know a lot about cooking, but it's amazing. So I'm the person with a vision. They have the tools to film. They have the tools to edit, and I'm the person that has the vision. I have the content and what the video should look like. They don't know how it should be. They know, oh yeah, it has to have an opening, closing, and credits. The rest they don't know. So they have to learn by each client as well. So, and they do. And they do. I had some great people around me. But no, you got to protect it's protecting your vision, it's protecting your delivery, it's protecting your work. So, and what we learned today, an idea alone does not carry heart, meaning only exists when someone takes responsibility for it. And I always take responsibility for my shows. I always have. Execution can be outsourced. Emotional ownership cannot. When two people work on the same project, alignment cannot be assumed. It must be named, discussed, and revisited. If no one can answer what the work is meant to make people feel, the result may be polished, but it will be empty. And I totally understand that. I totally understand that. A writer, consultant, or executor can shape structure and language, but they cannot invent lived truth. Partnership is not about equal effort. It is about clear responsibility for direction and meaning. So many businesses conflict are not caused by disagreement. They are caused by unasked questions. The most important question is not, can we build this? But why does this matter? And who is holding that responsibility? So, and I just wanted to mention something. When you see on television, people are on the streets reporting about an incident on the street and everything. You see the reporter with a microphone, and you see the background. They're standing maybe in front of a storefront. So the editor, the person that films, the video guy, they don't have to worry about a background. You get exactly what you see. That's it. And it's amazing the mindset of a person that does reports the street the street news. I'm sorry, versus a person that creates shows and the back the set and everything. Two different mindsets, two different editing mindsets too. So I had this happening. I had a second person who did street news. I had him touch my show and edit it. And you know what? It was bad. They filmed the news on the street. They don't worry about sets. They have a certain mindset. That doesn't mean a person couldn't do what somebody of a different structure can do, but it was in my case. So I really learned a lot. So again, when somebody has an idea, the idea is there and the execution happened, but without someone holding the heart, the work could never fully arrive. And that's just such a shame because people have such high expectation. Oh, they're writing a book. And they really want to bring across some of the things that they've learned. And I saw that in that case too. It's a real case. And then giving it just to somebody just because, oh, they can put it together. They missed out. They just gave everything away. And also that person isn't in tune with his own feelings, his or her own feelings. Otherwise, they would have approached it differently. And that's too bad, but people need to learn themselves. But this is something everybody needs to think about. Execute your own ideas. And if you don't know how, give me a call at the Business Champion, thebusinesschampion.com. You will find our contact information, everything. And I will look for your heart. I will look for it. And if it's not there, I will find it. And especially if it's warranted an emotional arena, very, very important. I don't write or format any technical books. I'm not qualified to do that. You have other people that are experts in that. So don't call me on that. But life stories, phases of life, leaving something behind for your family. That's so important. And the emotion and thoughts that people were not able to express. Some people express better in writing when they write something down. To me, it's more verbal. I say something right away. I think I'm more verbal than putting it on a piece of paper. But I have done both, but more verbal. Anyway, so again, why does this matter? And who is holding that responsibility? Where is your emotional responsibility? Make sure you create that. And make sure that second person, whether it's your partner in business or you hire somebody, make sure they know what to do with it. So till next time, I'm Marietta Kammer. Happy New Year, and we'll see you real soon. You take care.